what interested you about this particular series?
Well, it to me as a movie property. I normally produce movies. I hadn't done any television before, so when I read the book, I couldn't put it down. It was so great and complicated and fascinating, and it had these twists and turns that I never could predict. It kept me really riveted, and I thought, well, this is better told in a longer form than a movie, and we ended up then putting it together as a limited series.
I know the cast is big and diverse, and just credentials are huge.
Yeah.
Now, if it does well, could you think about doing the second season, or is this just going to be a one-off and that's it?
You know, it worked really well as a 10-hour, and it's very satisfying at the end. It all comes full circle and tells a great story. And yet, if there was a desire to go on, or people liked it enough and wanted it to go on, it's certainly, it's not out of the question. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the storyline, how true it stays with the books?
Yeah, the first book in the series, Wayward, is basically what we do in the first 5 of the 10 hours. So starting episode 6 forward, we take from the second book in the series, plus original stuff that we created with our creative team. So that's pretty much the structure of it.
So how did you and M. Night kind of collaborate on this as executive producers?
What happened was I gave the book to Chad Hodge, who is someone I'd known for years, a great writer.
And he's a series creator.
Exactly, and he read the book overnight as well, and he called me the next day. I said, I have something really special. It's not really a genre that you worked in. He said, let me read it. I'm looking for something interesting. And he literally called the next day and said, I couldn't put the book down. I know exactly how to do this. I said, wow. And like sometimes it's just in your gut, you know, and I was like, okay. And he said, I'm going to write the script. On spec, I'm going to write it. I said, fantastic. You're my new best friend. So he wrote the script, and then he did a wonderful job, and we sent it to Knight, who had never done television, because part of what's great about this is it's a suspense mystery thriller with a science fiction bent to it, and he's the master of great reveals and twists, and this has some pretty great ones. And Knight read the script and fell in love with it, and he then tried to guess where the story was going and couldn't guess. So it got him even more intrigued. So Chad and I flew to Philadelphia and went and saw Knight and had a meeting about it and decided to all go forward with it and put it together.
That's wonderful. I've seen the first 5 episodes, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but it is...
It's great. It's good so far.
I'm so upset because now I have to wait till June.
Oh, good.
To see the next episode.
Did the reveal surprise you?
Oh my God, I could not.
Okay.
I did not expect that at all.
Did you see 5?
I saw the first 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's why I don't want to spoil it.
You were probably surprised at the end of 2 of what happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That was a
too.
very horrific scene.
Yeah.
And then 3, all of them had a great ending to it.
All of them were
Have
like...
you seen any?
I haven't seen
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I said I didn't want to
Good.
spoil it,
Yeah.
because obviously we're going to have
Thank
this
you.
posted for our viewers, but
Yeah, thank
it
you.
is a fantastic series, and I'm just like...
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
We had a great time.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, no. How did you get so many great actors to jump on board with it? 'Cause
No, it's a good
yeah.
question. I think there are several factors. One is that the script was terrific. Okay, so on its own was a great script that had an original, fresh premise. Knight had come on to direct it, and that was really exciting to the cast. And thirdly, we said, okay, we're going to do a limited series. It's an event series. They didn't have the pressure of saying, ooh, if I, come on, could I end up being 5 years? Which can be a fantastic thing, but sometimes for creative people, they don't know if that's where they want to be for that long a period of time. So Matt Dillon, for instance, who hadn't done television, it was a perfect way for him to try that out. And then people like Melissa Leo and Carla and Terrence, everybody said, wow, what an exciting, creative kind of team that we're putting together, and we want to be a part of it, which was great.
Awesome.
Just out of curiosity, just because Empire's so big right now, was he shooting Empire at that time? Was that before or after?
It was funny. We cast him. Empire didn't exist, and he wasn't cast in it. We were shooting our show.
Yeah.
Came to set one day, and he said, "Oh, I just got cast in this new show, Empire." And we were like, "What are you talking about, Empire? Just get over here and stand on your mark. We're shooting now." Here. And everyone was kind of like, "Oh, what's this new show Terrence has?" cut too,
Yeah.
which is phenomenal.
It's great marketing. You can use, just having him on
Exactly.
there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we all benefit from it, right? It's a fantastic show, and he's become a big sensation, and it helps promote our show as well. And he's so great in our show, and it's such a distinguished character from what he does in Empire. It's completely different, so it's great.
All I have to say is Terrence Howard made me go buy ice cream.
Oh yeah.
Do you know
I
what kind? Did you buy the same kind he likes?
I don't like rum raisins. I don't like rum raisins, so I did not purchase
But he
rum
makes
raisins.
it look really good.
Yeah, he makes it
Oh
look,
my goodness. I was like, and I told my daughter, I said, I have to go get some ice cream right now. I was like, I just watched Wayward Pines.
I thought that all
Terrence
the
Howard
time.
made this ice cream cone look delicious, and I need to go have this ice cream cone.
That's right. I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, he gets to eat ice cream all day shooting these scenes.
I know,
I'm
right?
jealous.
I'm just curious, this TV climate's changing, because everything's getting so big, like Game of Thrones, all these huge productions. You've worked in film a lot. What's the difference for you from going from film to television as a producer?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I had never produced something in television before, so I didn't know what to expect. And of course, it's all so incredibly similar.
Yeah.
You're on a set. You've got a crew, you've got your actors, you've got your script pages, you may do more pages in a day than you would do on a movie, and you may shoot in a lot less time. So it's just, incredibly similar, and it's a very exciting time because creative content now, with all these different outlets, it's all about where does the story belong, what's going to do the story justice. Should it be 2 hours? Should it be told over 20 hours? And it's exciting for creative people because wherever it gets told in the most authentic way is the right outlet for it. And it's a moment where everybody's going between mediums. There's no longer a division like there had been historically. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, thank you.
Good luck.
Great to
It's a
talk
pleasure.
to you.
Yeah.
And action.
You're going to be very Jude Law. What's your question? Not to throw.
So what was the most intriguing thing about your character when you read the script that drew you to it?
Well, the fact that Adam Hassler, for fans of the book, apparently has a lot of backstory and a lot of future story that I was unaware of. So, I was reading when they sent me the scripts and the original scenes, and I was reading with M. Night Shyamalan. I was doing them as I thought the character should be, and then he would hint. He would say, "He's like, this is perfect, and now I want you to know that there's a whole other layer to Adam Hassler that I just want to know that you can do." You can go into this direction, and so that was sort of my heads up that there's going to be more to this character than I was prepared for, and that maybe he's, because he obviously has a long relationship with Matt Dillon and Shannon Sassman plays his wife, and I'm like not just his boss, I'm their close family friend. So when I send him sort of into harm's way, into Wayward Pines to solve this, it's like sending one of your closest friends, and to see what happens to him, you wonder, do I feel guilty about it? Am I going to try to make amends for, I don't know. So, I don't know if I'm supposed to say any of that, but, so everybody sort of has different layers of motivation, which is what makes it exciting,
Well, what was I say? I know you bounce around a lot from television and film. You could Star Trek and everything. Do you like that, or would you like to be on a show consistently for a long period, or you just like the ability to bounce around?
I was on a series, Prime Suspect, with Maria Bello, and that was Kirk Acevedo, Aidan Quinn, myself. It was Peter Berg was our executive producer. And that is a fantastic experience. It was funny because I do so much film, and I do like to sort of be a mercenary and come into other shows because I'm a fan too. I've seen how many shows I've done. It's really kind of great when you're a fan of whatever show, and then next thing you know you're appearing on it. It's like, oh, I get to be, and then you get to leave, and you say. So there's always a pro and con. But I will say what's nice to do about a series like this is you get to tell a story in a long format that you don't get to do with film. Even something like American Sniper, it's just a snapshot. It's just sort of like a slice of this guy's life. You're telling the story of somebody like Chris Scott. It's hard to do it in 2 hours. Here, you have 10 great episodes and all these great characters playing off of each other, and so that's sort of what I love about it. But I really do like both. And anytime I get stuck doing one, I'm like, God, I would give anything to go off and back to Morocco. And when I was in Morocco, I'm like, God, I can't wait to get back to the States. Work over 20th Century Fox. And, so that's just sort of the nature of the business. But what I really love is the opportunity to work with great people. So when you get a show like that, and I'm spoiled, like you see, somehow I always get placed in the ensemble. It's like, Clooney's directing this, and it's going to be his handpicked cast. You're like, great. M. Night Shyamalan has assembled an all-star cast, and they want you to come, be their utility infielder. Great. I'll go do that. So you get spoiled. You work with all these great actors and directors, and it just makes the job always exciting and fun. So I've been very lucky to work with quality projects, even when I'm getting my nose broken by various A-list actors.
Now, were you familiar with the books and all, or did you?
The funny thing was, once I found out that I was going to be a part of it, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, and I read all the way through, and then I was like, I'm not going to make this mistake this time. I am going to not. I don't want to read ahead. I don't want to know the fate of my character. That's when I realized I was dealing with a complex character, because it would get through to me. People would tweet about it, and they'd be like, and the Tim Griffin, did you know Alan Hassler is... I did not know that. So you can't really live in a bubble, and then I finally I pulled Knight aside, and I'm like, just tell me what you think I should know. Something that I'm going to need to know, for what I'm doing right now. But Terrence Howard was flying without a net when he was like, I don't want to know my fate. I don't want to know if I'm a good guy or a bad guy. And this makes his character and him as an actor, so compelling to watch, because he's, it's almost like he's discovering it as he's doing it. That's a different, it's just a different approach. Some people are like, no, I need to prepare. I need to know that I'm going to go through this transformation. So I was trying to steal a little from both worlds. But then, yes, now I have become inundated with the world of
A bad password.
Yes.
So what has surprised you about your character that you did not expect when you initially signed on? You don't have to spoil it, but just say what aspect of that person.
I'll say that the journey that he goes on, and obviously I haven't seen all 10 episodes yet. I don't know what they're going to keep with it, but I mean, it's from where he starts to where he ends is completely an epic sort of journey that he goes on. That like I say, I don't know. There's just a lot to it, and so it's a pretty exciting thing to know. And that's some of the things that people were letting me know. You think you're playing one character, and then someone's like, I hope you've practiced your survival skills. And I say, what the hell is that? You don't know? That's when I said,
You're going to have to stop reading your Twitter feed.
Yes, exactly. That's embarrassing when you're like, please no spoilers for myself.
Yeah, please don't spoil it for me.
Please don't, I'm in the middle of it. Right?
So speaking about some of your television roles, I recently saw an episode of Castle that you were on where you played an upcoming politician.
Yes.
So is that character, it seemed like it was in kind of an open-ended type of thing.
That, I have that relationship with several shows, because shows especially that I'm fans of the show, I always say, if you want to put me on the show, leave it in an open-ended capacity. We don't know what's going to happen with whatever, so I always like to leave it, so I've done it with Castle and How to Get Away with Murder and, different shows where you go, there is a potential to be open-ended, but you do it, it could just be a one-off, and you had a great time doing that show.
Yeah, it was a fun
really
episode.
Yeah, that was.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, guys, have a good one.
Duh. Yeah.
So you have been on television quite a bit recently, most notably in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's right.
Loved you as Dr. Whitehall. You were just so evil and it was wonderful.
It was a dream come true.
So this character you're playing now, Harold Ballinger, is a completely...
He's the polar opposite.
He's a
in
toy
so many ways.
maker.
Yeah, he's a toy maker. I mean, he may be more than a toy maker.
We won't spoil it.
And that's what I love about Wayward Pines, is because nothing's what it seems. And I mean, when I read the pilot, and I knew what was going on with his character, and I thought, oh, well, I'll tell you the story. So I read the pilot, and I go, oh my God, I need to know what's going to happen, right? I need to know how this ends. And I said, well, I mean, when they cast me, I'll find out. And then I thought, what if they don't cast me, right? So I immediately downloaded the book, Blake Crouch's book, and I didn't leave my chair, and I read that thing in 3 hours, and that was it. Because what I love about this show, and I love about this story, is you arrive in this very mysterious world, but the mystery is explained very quickly. And when it is, it doesn't take the air out, it's suddenly just, it's a rocket ship, and now we're going. And when I read that book, and the way we do it in the show, I never could have seen it coming in a million years. I couldn't have seen what the mystery is. And then when it's explained, you go, oh my God, this is science fiction. This isn't some sort of like airy fairy metaphysical mystery. You know, this is real. This could happen. And you go, oh my God, I know where we are. I'm in. I wanted this one bad. Because, yes, I play Harold Ballinger, seems like a toy maker, but he might be something more, and everyone's something more. And that's always what's exciting on as an actor, but rare in network television that you're going to play a character who's thinking something other than what he's saying. Mm-hmm. But as an actor, that's what you want. You want to be saying one thing and meaning something else. Mm-hmm. And and working with that caliber of actors, too, I mean, I thought, I want to fucking act with Matt Dillon. I want to be in a show with Matt Dillon. And I love Terrence Howard and that Toby Jones. I'm like, that guy, he's amazing. Which I tell him all the time, and he hates it. Please. And I was like, oh, you're amazing. No. I was like, come on, take the compliment, man. I don't know what to do with it. And Juliette Lewis, I was like, you know, I mean, I had this out-of-body experience. We were doing some scene, and I'm looking, I'm going, there's Juliette Lewis, there's Matt Dillon, there's Carla Gugino, there's me. And we're just doing the scene, just doing our thing. And so it was a very exciting. And Chad, who wrote most of the scripts and was the executive creative producer, great writer. So there was a lot of. I jumped in with a lot of excitement.
Yeah, well, I've seen the first 5 episodes.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm not going to spoil it because it is absolutely mind-blowing,
Yeah.
you know. And I know that I can see, like, the way your character is and how you interact with your on-screen wife, Carla Gugino.
Right.
And the way you look at her and how she's behaving, I can see, like, there's something else going in the background. You know it's just not an innocent thing or whatever, so I can just see that. But I'm anticipating the worst, but...
Yeah.
Your character is almost creepy to me because you're so calm. Also the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
You're very calm.
Exactly.
Like every time Matt Dillon comes in, he's frantic and hectic. He's trying to panic. You think you're gonna like kind of be combative with him, like, hey, stop talking to the girl here. You're just always like, hi, how are you doing? And you just kind of walk with it. I have work to do in the back. He's kind of close the door and go, I mean, how was that?
Very pleasant.
Yeah.
Because there's a way that one behaves in Wayward Pines. And that's one of those sort of red flags. You're going, everyone's acting odd. It's sort of that Stepford quality. And something doesn't add up. And that's what's cool too, because I get to play several different people in a certain way. So there's his public face, which is very interesting to contemplate a public face, which there's times throughout history and places still today where you're gonna have to maintain a public face, where how are you gonna be to get through life? And you may have dreams and terrors and aspirations inside of you. So, it's cool. And then it's befuddling to him, of course. If we're being very calm, very pleasant, very Wayward Pines. I baked up a cake. Let's go listen to our show. Yeah. We're playing horseshoes today. I'm the champ.
That's why I was like, I didn't want to spoil anything because, the duplicitous nature of the citizens of Wayward Pines is one of the things that I love about this particular series is because it's not for a casual viewer. it's you need to invest your time into watching the episodes, because if you just watch it casually, you're not going to catch on to the small nuances that are going on within the whole.
You've got to watch the whole thing from the beginning, but
Yeah.
it's 10. It's it. It's not a big commitment. You can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no,
you can
I
do
think
it.
yeah.
Yeah, but someone asked me, "Hey, can we just jump in?" I was like, "You cannot jump in. You gotta get on this train at the first stop and ride all the way through."
Because if someone jumped in on episode 5, they're gonna be like,
No.
"Well, what happened? How did
Yeah.
that happen?" And then you're like, "Well, you gotta watch the first
No.
4."
And the wondering is really satisfying. That's why it'll be nice that you have to wait a week. What's going on?
It's torture.
You can't binge view it. I like
Yeah.
that.
It's torturous.
Yeah.
By the way.
Is it an anxious feeling as an actor? Because I know you shot this a while ago. We were talking to producers. You were saying that Terrence Howard hadn't even done The Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're just waiting for this to come out, I mean, are you just too busy with your next project that you're doing, not even think about it? Or is it constantly on your mind before it actually airs?
Yeah, I haven't thought about it because you do go on to the next thing, because that's the thing, you have no control, you have no power. I mean, and it's and it goes both ways. I mean, sometimes you'll be doing a network show and you'll premiere while you're shooting. So if you're doing a 22 episode show, or even I guess Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm 6 in by the time the first one airs, so you start getting feedback. But and that may affect how you steer the course, or it may not. But with this, we made a solid thing, and I know they were waiting for the right time to premiere it, and I think they probably did pick the right time, because Empire was just such a massive, gargantuan hit. And now we have Terrence.
Yeah.
The incredibly talented Terrence Howard. So.
Yeah, and this show premieres in May, so it's torturous for those of us who've already seen several episodes, because
to get
now we
through.
have to.
Let's wait till June.
I mean, you worry more if you're going to do more seasons. So you worry more if you go, hey, are we getting picked up? Can I make my rent payment, or should I downsize? Yes. So that's yes.
So, in playing this character, did you do any research as far as like toy making, or was that just not like a really big part of the character? Do you think?
I was going to. It was a very odd process, because we were almost never all together. Matt's the hub, and the rest of us were spokes. So I didn't really see any of the other actors. Tim and I got to have a beer once because we were in town the same day. Mm-hmm. So they would basically, you'd come in, you'd shoot your scenes, and you'd leave. So you didn't know what everyone else was doing. And so I thought we'd all be there, because in most shows you're kind of like, hey, we're the team, it's us, we're gonna make a great show. And and I'd be up there and you'd be hanging out and you'd rehearse, I'd work on toy making. I didn't even know if I was gonna do any toy making.
Yeah.
No, I had thought about that. But what was more interesting was really the toy making is, it's a prop trick. It's something I could do, but I think what was most satisfying and exciting for me was just the imaginative trip into this world, because there was no end of things to think about. Going, how would you get through your life, and what would you do to survive in this world? So. Yeah. But I know I can't make you any toys. I do. I'm very handy, but I don't do any fine woodwork. But if I can lay PVC piping and do that.
Because I was wondering what you were making in that back room when you slid the door shut.
Well, you might find out. It may not be toys.
So, and I love your character and the show also. I saw all 5 episodes. I went crazy. I saw the last one. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to wait until how many weeks to see the rest of it.
Right.
So, with your character, I know we can't do spoilers, but will we see more of a good side of him or a bad side of him as the season progresses?
You may see more of who he really is.
Okay. Okay.
That's not cryptic.
Yes, I wouldn't, because that's, I think, what's really satisfying about the show is you don't know. The good guys may not be so good, and the bad guys may not be so bad. And I think that's what's fun too, is I think your expectations will get turned around. And that's nice, is keep people on their toes. Like, what's going on? Oh, that's the sheriff. That's a good guy. What the heck? Yes. That's what's fun.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you,
The
guys.
show is amazing.
All right.
That's amazing.